I was trying to think the other day. What'd you say that you and Daddy Emsy paid for this house?
Best I can remember is about $500.
I can do that.
That was a scary house payment too, wasn't it? Spending that much money.
In about 1944, I guess. Tinny Ruth was, we moved in here when Tinny Ruth was 17 months old.
How much was your house payment?
That I can't remember. It could have been $25. That's a pretty big payment though.
Yeah.
During the war, I know of one house here in town that they were big rooms, but it was a 3-room house.
Uh-huh.
You know, like 2 rooms in an L shape.
Right.
And it had a long front porch across the 2 rooms, and see the kitchen was the L off of it. It was all the same size. And it was down here on the highway now. You know, if it was still sitting there, it'd be on the highway going through Quentin. And it sold for $15. One lot. Now can you imagine that? Now that's unreal, isn't it?
I think the average home now sells for $90,000 is the average selling price of a home in the U.S.
Well, you know, we got 6 lots here with this. 6 lots included in this. It's a half a block.
Yeah.
That's why ours cost more.
So you're with the rich folks with 6 lots.
They call this the silk stocking part of town. Now that's what they call this part of town. That was a silk stocking.
Where's Daddy Emsy working when you bought this house?
The Navy. Oh, it was an Army. What is it now? Is it Navy or Army now? It's Army
Navy.
now.
It's Navy now, I think, isn't it? It's Navy.
I was thinking it was Army now. Well, anyway,
I don't even know what you're talking
whatever. It's changed once, either to it was Navy or Army then, and then they changed to the other. I don't know how come they do. But you know, when we lived in the north end of town here, when it was just renting a little house for about 4 months before we bought this, I went to work at the Navy, or at the Army, yeah, it was at the Navy then, I believe. Anyway, Emsy was riding a bus out of town at that time. Later on, he got him pick up, and he hauled riders himself. He put a little deal over the back of it, built it over, and had him some seats in there, and he hauled riders.
How far was it to the base?
Well, it's 30 miles to McAllister and about 12 miles on, about 42 miles. Come to Quentin, or picked him up, took him up there, and I rode that bus for 5 weeks and worked in the yellow powder and in the black powder for 5 weeks to buy a milk cat. They wanted $50 for her. She was full-blooded Jersey. She give about a water bucket full of milk and rich, the yellow butter. And I wanted that cow for the children to have plenty of milk.
How long after you bought the house did you buy the cow?
It was before we hadn't bought the house when we bought the
So
cow.
that cow cost as much as the house.
The cow cost $50.
And the house was only $500, so
I
that's.
believe it was 5 or 6, but it seemed like I don't think it was 6, but I don't know if it was 5 it wasn't over. I'll say it wasn't over 6, and it might not have been 6.
Yeah.
I want to say it's 5. Because Mr. Hendrickson bought these, they sold for taxes, and he didn't give anything hardly for them. And so that was quite a bit of money to make out of it.
You girls?
So I worked and got Mildred, her name was Bell, Mildred Bell, her Ruby Man, 2 sisters. She's about 15. I hired her to come and stay through the day with the children. And Grandma Johnson was there, but I wouldn't depend on her to, you know, run after them.
Right.
And Tinny Ruth was just about a year old, are a little older. And so she'd come and she'd get out and play with them, but she was big enough to watch after them. So the day I come home and David had put Tin Roof in the basket on his bicycle and rode her around and dumped her out, I quit work. I said I thought I had enough then. I divide my money that I made after I paid for my fare, $1 up there every day. I divide my money with Mildred, and it took me about 5 weeks to get that $50. And when I got it, I quit. Took care of the children myself. I was afraid some of them was going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Well, that was. We had to volunteer and go open and close that big. Let me see how many 1,000-pound door. You know where they press the powder in the shells inside. Inside of that big room.
They sealed it up.
They had windows to where if it blowed out even a spark. Give her whatever she wants. What do you want?
You don't need that candle anyway.
Oh, I don't have another none. Let me see here. Oh, that's a candle.
Now, you girls really needed a candle.
Now, what was I telling you?
Sealing the big room up.
Oh, and there was a room there that had a door that weighed, oh, I don't know how heavy it was. It'd kill somebody if they got fastened in. I mean, if you shut the door on them. It was that heavy. And it was operated by a big by motor. And it had windows in there, so they said that you had to be so careful when you're pressing that powder in them shells, because if a spark got in it or anything that would strike, it would blow up. That shell would blow the whole. Well, they tried to fix it to where it wouldn't maybe blow the whole building. It'd blow out the windows, you know. So I didn't realize what I was doing, but they wanted a volunteer to go and work that, and I took it, and I went, and I had to step up and sit up high, and I operated like a car gear.
Right.
Wanted open the door, and then wanted shut the door, and when a man was standing there with a little deal of powder, and I'd open it for him, and he'd go inside and pour it in it and step back out, and I would close the door, and it would then there was an operator press that would press that powder in that shell. Then I'd open that door again. There's 2 men walking. And boy, I had to watch. I never did have an accident.
You couldn't afford to have one there.
And I'll tell you, I'd take a wet rag with me and wash my face. Afraid I might go doze off or something. And I didn't stay with that too long.
How many hours a day did they have you working?
I worked about 8 hours. And then, of course, we got off. We'd get a 10-minute break at 10. And a 10-minute break then, you know, mid-afternoon.
Right.
And then they needed somebody to go somewhere else. I got tired of that. Well, someone changed with me, and I went to the black powder. We was in the yellow powder, and I went to the black powder, and it was breaking down time fuses, and I had to be grounded through that cement floor with a band around my leg. You can see why I didn't want to work any longer than I had to.
Yep.
That was during World War II. So I quit and come home. Emsy was out on the railroad track. He was in a safer place. But I said my kids needed a mama. They needed a mother. And
when did Daddy Emsy serve?
World War I. He went out toward Washington and Oregon, out in there. And it was a year that they had that awful flu. You've read about it, I'm sure, in history. That killed so many people. And he said he had the curtains pulled around him 2 or 3 times for him to die. And finally he said, the last time they put them around him, he said, you just will take that away, I'm not going to die. And did you know they moved that? He said, in a few minutes they come and moved that, took that curtain down. But he was in the hospital 3 months.
Where's the trash can?
Right yonder behind, right over there behind the refrigerator, on the other side.
On the refrigerator.
I tell you, during our lifetime, we've had a lot of experience.